Okay, now we're going to use the all-in response tools in an ad hoc function. So basically, I want to do an activity. I've not prepared for this activity, but I may want to use other tools to be able to put this together. All I need to do is to collect answers using the response system. So I'm going to go to my teacher tools, and I'm going to use Error on the Fly, and it's going to ask me to title it. So I'm going to do demo. And I'll pick my student roster again. And it's going to give me a control bar. And this control bar will allow me to, just like in the scripted mode, start my questions, end the session so I can generate the report, etc. Now, in this example, I'm going to use BrainPop. So I'm going to use their quiz that they have already put together. So they've already got question slides. And so now I can actually go through and just have my students go through and respond. So I've got the slide up. I'm going to start the question. And I am going to ask them to respond to what they think the answer is. So I will get them to respond. Yeah, number 3 has not responded yet, so we'll call on number 3. And we'll end that question. We'll bring our response bar up here. Now you'll notice there's no score, and it's not telling me what the actual answer is. And that's because in an ad hoc function, we have not built an answer key ahead of time. So I need to build the answer key as we go along. So in this case, we're going to look at the question, and the answer is C. So I will click C. Well, 90% of my class got it right. We can select C on our BrainPop, and we can move on to the next question, and I can close this. And so we'll go on to the next question. Wait for our students to respond. All right, now that I have my entire class that has responded to the question, I will end it. And again, I'm going to insert the answer into my chart so the class can see how they did. And again, we got 90% of the class got it right. So we'll close that, and we'll move on to our next question and start it. And we'll end that question. Again, we'll show what the correct answer is. And now 100% of my class got it correct. So we can go through and we can build an answer key as we're going along with whatever activity that we're doing. Now, I have not attached standards to this. We're just building the answer key, and just like we did before, we can change the standards associated with our answer key after the fact so that I can have a standards analysis on this activity as well. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close our session. So I'm done with this BrainPop activity. It's going to ask me if I am certain. I'll click OK. And then once I'm done, it'll generate a report for us. So I can go back to my reports. And I now have my demo on the fly report. We'll look at that and see how our students did. We can look at the individual item analysis. And again, no standards analysis because we didn't assign a standard to the questions. And I'm going to go through and actually add standards. So we will pick our standard. And I'm going to add it to all my questions. I'm going to save this activity. And once it generates our new report, we will have a standards analysis for an ad hoc session. And again, I'll be able to sort my students by weakest to strongest or strongest to weakest so I know who needs to be worked with on what concept.